instance is ready now, and in the previous step we have made sure that it is enabled. npm application related prerequisites are installed, and tags are also created. So now we need to go to the application. Now, just to make sure that we are in the same region, it is in Oregon. We created an application, created a deployment group. We are creating a deployment group. We selected the correct role, and we have given, we need to give the, let us refresh this guy. Start again. Let us give the deployment role here. Deployment type is in place, Amazon EC2 instance. We have given the key value pair as auto scale with value as demo. So one unique message, let us make sure that it is the same instance, that we won't go for, it is EC81 Oregon. It is EC81 running Oregon. Yes, so we are good here. So correct EC2 matched instance is selected. So we are not going to use auto scaling group for time being, but we will modify this deployment group once we create the auto scaling group and use it for deployment. So as of now, we are just going to deploy this to this instance alone. This one will be one at a time. Like I explained earlier, we are going to deploy the application changes to each instance one at a time. We are not enabling load balancing. Deployment group is created. Now we need to create the deployment. So deployment group will be the one that we just created now. My application is stored in S3, Amazon S3. Like earlier, we still didn't move anything to S3 bucket. So we attempted it, but at that time we were getting wrong application, because the application that we created, an instance we created, were in a different region. So hopefully this time it should go through. So let us go to Git bash terminal and try to run it again. So this is in region is US West 2, and it works fine. Okay. Now note down these e tags and versions. Once we refresh it here, this time it should show in the revision location. See, e tag is E68DF. It is E68DF. So let us select this one, and let us quickly check the bucket as well to see if there are any changes. As you can see, now app code repo folder is created and app.zip is originally copied. So now let us push this to S3 bucket. Okay, now code is there in S3 bucket. Let us go to deployment, override the content. So this is when in future deployments what it should do. It should override the content. Rest of the things should be okay. Let us create the deployment. So we will start getting the progress here. Yes. So this means code deploy started working. It is deploying this to the EC2 instance that we have running here. We can see the progress here. Let us view instance. So these are the same hooks that we have given in that appspec.yml before install, after install. We went through a few scripts. These are the scripts that are getting executed, and we can see that everything is executed now. Okay, so ideally it should show the command that we just it should show that message that we have just coded in index.js, that is EC2 autoscale group 5 version with pipeline V0. That is the one that we have coded here. So let us see if it is coming up or not in our EC2 instance. Just give a curl command. Yeah, it is the version V0 that is showing up here. Let us open a browser and see if it is coming up here as well. So let us open this public IPv4 address and we have enabled the 3000 inbound rule, if you remember correct. So just give it, and yes, we are getting V0 as well, which means application is now working fine. So just to quickly familiarize with the code commit and this AWS deploy push, let us make one more change. Let us change this to V1. So first step is we need to commit this to AWS code commit repository. Git commit m v0 to v1. Give git push origin master. This should code changes that we made are successfully pushed to the code commit, but S3 bucket is still having the older version. So let us make sure that we are taking care of that one as well using AWS deploy push. So now a new E tag and a new version came up. Let us deploy this. So the deployment that we just created, that is this 9DA8G, this one is with this version of code. So now we need to create a new deployment. So go to applications, select the application that we were using. Which one was that? S11 Emblo auto scale demo. So we already have one deployment group in which we have selected this instance. So we need to still use it, but we cannot use the existing deployment because that one is using the version V0 code. So we are going to create a new deployment and use the latest revision that we have found here. So how we can identify it here is by using E tag. E tag is starting with 0D0AC. So let us see 0D0AC. Rest is same, override the content, and let us create the deployment. So we can see the progress here. Just view the events. It is in after install step currently. Application is getting started, and validate service is also fine. Let us see if this code changes to v1. Change to v1 in browser. Just to ensure, let us see in code localhost. Change to v1 as well. So now what we have seen is like there are kind of manual interventions required in this step because we are doing a git commit, we are doing a git add, git commit, and git push, which we need to do anyway because there is no other way. At least I didn't figure out any other automatic way to move from local to AWS code commit. So this, after that, this AWS deploy push command, this is prone to error because it is a long lengthy CLI command. So let us try to automate this in next step, so that as and when there is any change that we are committing to the AWS code commit via git, the deployment pipeline should get automatically triggered. Right, currently we are creating a new deployment and then we are deploying it. So kind of manual intervention is there to select the revision manually and all. So all these things we are going to automate it via code pipelines. So we will take it as the next step.